Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button, share your thoughts, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. The shot that shouldn't have happened. The silence hit harder than the slap. 20-2-year-old Amira Elwood stood at the edge of the dusty basketball court, the orange ball still spinning where it had hit the rim and dropped flat. A circle of spectators stared, not at the ball but at her. Coach Graves' voice cut through the thick air like a blade. Who told her to shoot? She was just supposed to watch. His voice echoed off the gym walls. The room pulsed with a mix of confusion and tension. A few of the girls laughed quietly but cruelly. Coach Tammy, his assistant, looked down and didn't speak. Amira's arms slowly lowered. Her breathing was quick and shallow. She hadn't even realized she'd stepped into the game. Instinct had taken over. The ball had come to her, and she had released it like she'd done 1,000 times before. And it had gone in. A perfect shot. But that didn't matter. She wasn't on the roster. She wasn't on the team. She was just an intern at charity. Pick the girl who should have stayed in the shadows. Sit down, Coach Graves snapped. Before you embarrass yourself further. Amira's knees stiffened, but she obeyed. Every step back to the bench felt like walking barefoot across shattered glass. She could feel the heat of everyone's eyes on her. Not proud, not impressed, just annoyed. She sat back straight, hands folded, jaw clenched so tightly her molars ached. That night, Amira didn't cry. She wrote. The pen trembled in her hand as she scribbled furiously in her journal. I didn't miss. They just didn't want me to make it. She closed the journal and stared at the wall of her tiny dorm room. Faded posters, a cracked mirror, one picture of her mother holding a basketball in her left hand, and Amira's tiny fingers in the other. Her mother, Zanele Elwood, was a legend in their community. A former semi-pro basketball player in South Africa who'd moved to the States to give Amira a better future. She had taught her to dribble before she could spell her name, taught her to keep her elbows out, knees bent, and eyes always locked on the hoop. But now, her mother was gone. Cancer had taken her during winter, and with her, most of Amira's world had crumbled. All she had left was the game. The sound of sneakers on hardwood, the rhythm of a bounce, the swish of a clean shot. She had applied for the intern position at Eastlake Falcons, not to get ahead but to stay alive. The team was preparing for the annual Regional Women's Showcase, where national scouts came to pick players for international leagues. It was a huge deal, but Amira wasn't allowed on the official roster. Coach Graves had made it very clear. You're here to observe, record plays, and assist with logistics. You are not a player. But he didn't know her past. He didn't know how many neighborhood games she'd won, how she'd led her high school team to a state title back home. He didn't care. To him, she was just a favor the school owed someone. Still, Amira watched every practice, memorized every play, understood each player's strengths and weaknesses, especially Donnie Brooks, the team captain. Donnie was beautiful, charismatic, and sharp, but under the surface, she was cruel. She controlled the team like a queen controls her court. No one dared cross her, not even Coach Graves, who always seemed to follow her lead. Amira kept her head down, but she noticed things. Injuries that didn't make sense. 3 girls had gotten injured in the last 2 weeks. First, Jade, the power forward, accidentally tripped during sprints, a twisted ankle. Then Bex, a promising freshman shooter, took an elbow to the ribs during a rebound, bruised and benched. Last week, Lana, their fastest guard, suffered a locker accident. The top shelf fell on her head. Each time, the injuries were brushed off, blamed on clumsiness or bad luck. But Amira saw the truth. Each one had stood out, had tried to play harder than Donnie, and then, gone. Coincidence? She didn't think so. Then came the new girl, Noella Walk-On, who was scouted by an agent from the Netherlands. She played with fire, quick, fierce, unapologetic. Amira watched her outshine Donnie in a practice scrimmage. The next day, Noelle's locker was found smashed open, her shoes missing, and her jersey ripped. She quit that evening and never returned. That was the moment Amira knew someone was sabotaging the team from the inside. And Coach Graves, he was letting it happen. A warning 2 nights later. Coach Tammy stopped Amira on her way out. You play well, Tammy said quietly, her eyes darting to make sure no one else was near. You've got instincts. But this place doesn't reward instincts. Stay out of the way. Amira tilted her head. Are you warning me? I'm saying, Tammy said, voice barely above a whisper. Some games aren't about skill, they're about control. And some people don't like being challenged. With that, she turned and walked off. Amira stood frozen in the hallway. Her heart, thudding, the hidden file 3 days later. While helping clear out old equipment from the gym's storage room, Amira found a loose panel behind a pile of cones and boxes. Something was wedged behind it. Curious. She pried it open and found a dusty folder marked Eastlake Falcons injury reports. Internal inside were detailed forms, dates, names, descriptions, and coaching notes. One line chilled her to the bone. Jade, foot placement accident staged for disciplinary reason. Another, Bex provoked Donnie during rebound, handled. Nearly all were signed by Coach Graves. One note even had a forwarded email. Remove non-compliant players before scouts arrive. Focus on image. Donnie stays captain. She's a lock-in with the Dutch agent. No distractions. At the bottom was a reply. Understood. Amira Elwood should remain in the background. She's not in the long-term vision. Amira's hands shook. She wasn't just being ignored, she was being silenced. The day everything changed, on the Friday before the tournament, disaster struck. The team's starting point guard slipped during warm-ups and dislocated her shoulder. Coach Graves was furious. The team was now one player short, and they couldn't delay. Graves stormed out to the gym, where the team waited silently. Find me a replacement, he growled to Tammy. Anyone. I don't care. Tammy hesitated. Her eyes flicked toward Amira. Coach Graves saw. Not her. She's not a player, but she knows the system, Tammy said quietly, and she's ready. Graves turned his gaze to Amira. The air felt like it would crack from the tension. No, he snapped. She's here to watch. Amira stood, her voice calm but firm. Let me shoot once. Just one shot. A hush fell over the gym. Graves sneered. Fine, humiliate yourself. Donnie folded her arms, smirking. Amira stepped to the free throw line. Her pulse throbbed in her ears. She bounced the ball once, twice, then released. Swish. Perfect, smooth. Net didn't even ripple. For a moment no one moved. Then Tammy said, softly but clearly, I think we found our replacement. The note that night, after a long hot shower, Amira returned to the locker room to find her locker door cracked open. On her sneakers sat a small, folded note. No name, no envelope. She unfolded it with trembling fingers. There were only 4 words. Stop digging, or else. At the bottom, smeared across the paper, a red fingerprint. She didn't know if it was blood or paint, but she knew one thing. She had just stepped into something dangerous, and someone didn't want her taking another shot. The whisper, game the note, sat in her palm like it was burning. Stop digging, or else. No signature, no explanation, just the red fingerprint at the bottom, dark, oily, and oddly smudged, like someone had pressed it in a rush. Amira looked around the empty locker room. Quiet, too quiet. The showers were off. The hallway beyond was dark, but someone had been here. Someone who knew where she kept her things. Someone who wanted her afraid. She slipped the note into the inside pocket of her jacket and walked out, not saying a word. But she didn't go home. She went back to the gym. The lights were off, but she knew how to move in the dark. She stepped onto the court, stood at the free throw line, and let the silence settle. Then she whispered into the air, like her mother used to do. What are they afraid of? Her own voice echoed faintly. Was it her playing ability, her knowledge, her curiosity? No, what scared them was what she knew. They were hiding something bigger than favoritism. This wasn't just about Donnie's ego or Coach Graves' reputation. This was about control, power, maybe even money. And Amira had touched a nerve. A mysterious Alitha. Next morning, she found an envelope under her dorm door. No name. Again, inside a photo. It was grainy, clearly zoomed in from a distance, but it was clear enough to see. Coach Graves and a man in a grey suit shaking hands in the parking lot behind the gym. The man's briefcase was open. Something shiny in the cash. There was also a printed message on the back. Not everyone wants to keep her, Captain. Her Donnie. Amira stared at the photo, trying to make sense of it. Was someone helping her? But why anonymously? She didn't know who to trust, but she was no longer alone in this. Practice turned war that afternoon. Coach Graves announced that Amira would officially fill in for the missing point guard at the regional showcase. The team's silence was thunderous. Dana's eyes narrowed like slits. She said nothing, but her posture said everything. Tammy gave Amira a small nod, a quiet show of support. The drills began, but it wasn't practice anymore, it was war. Every pass to Amira came to heart. Every screen she ran ended with an elbow. Twice, she was tripped by accident, but she didn't fall, not once. She played smart, fast, and clean. She outplayed Donnie Dot, and that made Donnie furious. During a scrimmage, Amira stole the ball mid-dribble and made a clean layup. The team froze. Even Coach Graves muttered something under his breath. On the next play, Donnie slammed into her hard. Amira hit the floor. Her head bounced off the hardwood. The gym gasped. Just aggressive defense, Donnie said casually, stepping over her. But Amira saw it. For the first time, fear in Donnie's eyes. She was no longer invisible. She was a threat. Secrets in the locker room. After everyone left, Amira stayed behind, icing her head and waiting for the throbbing to fade. Her eyes drifted toward Donnie's locker. Unlocked. She shouldn't have, but she did. She opened the door and found an envelope tucked behind an extra pair of sneakers. Inside, a copy of the same scout agreement Coach Graves had spoken about, one that promised Donnie a spot with the Dutch professional team, as long as she remained the team's public face. And then taped to the inside wall were photos of every injured teammate, marked with X's and comments in Donnie's handwriting. Bex equals loudmouth Jade equals show off Noel equals problem, and finally, scribbled at the bottom, Amira equals must go silent. Amira backed away, stomach turning. This wasn't just sabotage, this was a calculated purge. The confrontation that night, Amira walked the campus late, headphones in, but no music playing. She was listening for footsteps. She didn't hear Donnie coming. Just suddenly, an arm grabbed her from behind and shoved her against a tree. Think you're smart, Donnie hissed, breath hot with rage. Amira didn't flinch. I'm not scared of you. You should be, Donnie snapped. You don't belong here. You don't get to show up and take what we earned. We, Amira shot back. Or just you. Donnie's eyes gleamed. You think you know things. You don't. You're just a project, a charity case. No one here wants you. Not really. You were supposed to stay quiet. Just watch. I watched, Amira said, and now I'm playing. And they'll see. Donnie leaned in closer. If you play, you'll regret it. Then she walked off, melting into the dark. The message in her room, Amira found a second note under her pillow. This one had only one sentence. If you step on that court, you won't walk off it. Underneath the note, a single shoelace. Her spare sneakers were gone. Tammy's secret the next day. Tammy pulled Amira aside during warm-ups. You okay? Amira hesitated, then nodded. No, but I will be. Tammy exhaled and glanced around. There's something you should know, she said quietly. The man in the photo, the one with Graves, is from an overseas talent agency. They're not just recruiting, they're paying for player placements, side deals, bribes. Donnie's father has money in the agency. Amira stared. Are you serious? Tammy nodded. You weren't supposed to be here. Your name wasn't on the list, but I saw you, and I knew. This team doesn't need more dolls. It needs fire. You knew about the injuries. I suspected, but you found proof. Tammy paused. They'll come for you harder now. Just be smart. Game day. The stadium was packed. Scouts in suits filled the top rows, their eyes scanning the court. Amira stood in uniform, number 22 stitched clean on her back. Her mother's number. Her breath shook as the buzzer rang. It was time. The first quarter was war. Donnie passed to everyone, except Amira. Coach Graves didn't call her name once, but then came a turnover. The ball bounced loose, heading straight for the sideline. Amira dove, caught it mid-roll, and without thinking, fired a no-look pass straight into the key. Layup points. The crowd roared. Even the scouts sat up. Donnie glared, but Coach Graves said nothing. By the second quarter, Amira had racked up 6 assists and 2 steals. Her speed was undeniable. By the third, the crowd was chanting her number, and that's when it happened. The foul. Donnie drove up for a fake screen and slammed her shoulder into Amira's back. Mid-jump, Amira crashed hard, her leg twisting beneath her. The gym went silent. Pain exploded through her body. Her ankle felt wrong, like it didn't belong to her. I rushed over. So did the medic. She can't continue, Coach Graves said quickly. Amira gritted her teeth. Tape it. You're done, Elwood, he snapped. But the scouts were watching now. One stood and shouted, let her decide. Tammy looked at her. You sure? Amira looked toward the stands, toward the empty seat her mum would have sat in. Then she whispered, "Tape it." The shot they never saw coming. Amira limped back onto the court. Her right ankle throbbed with every step, even after the tape job, but the pain was buried under something stronger. Rage and resolve. The referee looked at her like she was crazy. "You good to play?" She gave a single nod. "Tamm." I caught her eyes and mouthed silently, "You don't have to do this." But she did, because walking off now wouldn't just be giving up, it would be proving. Donnie right. The turning point. The scouts leaned forward. Even Coach Graves looked unsure. Donnie, on the other hand, looked smug-like. The game was already won. She smiled as Amira took position at point guard, whispering under her breath, "Enjoy your last moment." Amira ignored her. The whistle blew. Tammy inbounded the ball. Amira caught it, steadying herself on one leg, then pivoted carefully and began the play. Every bounce sent fire up her calf, but she kept moving, controlled, focused. The defense swarmed. They thought she was weak now. That was their mistake. Amira faked a pass, then ducked under a swipe, spun off her bad foothand, nailed a clean mid-range jumper. Swish. The crowd lost it. One scout clapped. Another scribbled furiously in his notebook. "Graves cracks coach." Graves barked something, pacing the sideline. He yelled for Donnie to take the lead, but for the first time, no one was following her. Players started looking at Amira between plays. Small nods, silent approval. The game was shifting and Donnie could feel it. Amira saw her next chance on a fast break. Tammy sprinted ahead, Amira behind, and Donnie closing in like a shadow. The pass came. Tammy lobbed it perfectly. Amira caught it and pulled up from the three-point line. Time slowed. The ball left her hands and arced through the air. Every breath in the gym froze. Swish. Silence. Then a full eruption. The scouts stood. Graves calls timeout. Timeout. Coach Graves screamed, red-faced, his voice cracking. The team huddled. Graves didn't speak right away. He just stared at Amira like she wasn't supposed to be this good, like she had broken a rule no one had written down. But everyone had. Followed. Then, cold and low, he said, "Stay in your lane. You're not the face of this team." Amira locked eyes with him. "Maybe not before," she said calmly, "but I think I am now." He said nothing, but she saw the twitch in his jaw. She had rattled him. A secret comes out. Back on the bench, Tammy leaned in. "You need to know something about your mom." Amira's heart jumped. "What?" Tammy looked away for a second, then back. "She played for Graves 2 years ago. Same position, same fire." Amira blinked. "I didn't know that." "Of course not, because she wasn't supposed to play either. They benched her before a major showcase, said she was too aggressive, too unpolished." Amira's mouth went dry. She got injured, blamed herself, never played again. Tammy touched her arm. "You're not just playing for you, Amira. You're playing for her, too." Amira looked back at the court, heart pounding. She finally understood. Fourth quarter, the fire spreads. They were only down by 6 points now, with 4 minutes to go. The crowd was chanting 22, 22. Donnie scowled. Every pass she made now half-hearted. Her confidence was crumbling. She tried to go solo, ignored. The team but got blocked. Twice. Coach Graves called no plays for her. Instead, he watched Amira run the court like she owned it. Tammi drove inside, then passed behind her back to Amira at the arc. Amira shot. Missed. Gasps. The crowd hushed, but Tammy grabbed the rebound, pivoted, and passed back. Amira didn't flinch. She shot again. Swish. 1 point. Game. The sabotage with 46 seconds left on the clock. Graves made a sudden call. He pulled Amira out. "Rest her ankle," he said with fake concern. The assistant coach hesitated. "Sir, she's I said out." The crowd booed. Amira walked to the bench, limping but proud. She grabbed a water bottle, but kept her eyes on the game. The team looked lost without her. Graves tried to run everything through Donnie. It didn't work. They missed 2 shots in a row. The other team scored again. 3-point lead. And then a steal. 10 seconds left. Tammy raced down the court, dribbling fast. Amira stood up on the sideline, and that's when it happened. Tammy turned and threw the ball to Amira. On the bench, she walked back and the ball bounced at Amira's feet. Everyone froze. The referee looked confused. Graves screamed, "She's not in. That's illegal." But Tammy shouted, "Time out." With 2 seconds on the clock, it was legal. One last play. Amira looked straight at Graves. "Put me in." He hesitated. "She can't put her in." One of the scouts barked, "We're watching." Coach Graves swallowed hard. He nodded. Final shot. She hobbled back onto the court. 2 seconds, down by 3. She positioned herself at the top of the key. The crowd rose to its feet. The buzzer would sound as soon as the ball touched her hands. Tammy looked at her. No words. Just trust. The inbound pass flew through the air. Amira caught it. She stepped back behind the arc, her ankles screaming in protest, and shot. Silence. Time froze. The ball floated. Perfect arc. No spin. Every single person in the gym held their breath. And then dash, swish, buzzer, tie game. The stadium exploded. People screamed, jumped, cheered. Even the announcer yelled, "What a shot by Elwood." The scouts stood and applauded. Coach Graves just stared, frozen. Donnie. She walked off the court before the overtime even started. The truth explodes as the team huddled for overtime. One of the scouts approached Graves. "We've seen enough. She's the future." "But Donnie's been." "We don't care about Donnie." The scout interrupted. "That girl just made the shot of the season. And with an injury." The man turned to his assistant. "Get her a contract." Another scout leaned in. "Also, we've heard things. We might want to prepare for an investigation." Graves paled. Amira, standing just feet away, heard it all. And for the first time, she smiled. Overtime not needed. The team rode the high. Amira passed, led, and defended with fierce energy. Tammi scored twice. Bex blocked Danny's replacement. In 4 minutes. They blew the other team out by 10. Final whistle. Victory. They lifted Amira on their shoulders. The girl they told to just watch. The girl they ignored, pushed, and threatened. Now the hero. But outside the stadium, as Amira limped out the tunnel, shoes in hand, she found something waiting for her. A single black envelope, no name, no stamp. She opened it. Inside, a photo of her mother, young, in the same jersey, and behind it typed words, "This goes higher than Graves. Don't stop now, a friend." She stared at the message, heart pounding. Someone was helping her, but why, and who else was involved? The friend in the shadows. The envelope felt heavier than it should have. It wasn't just the photo, or the typed message, it was what it meant. Amira stared at the picture of her mother, young, alive, powerful, and then the line below it, "This goes higher than Graves. Don't stop now, a friend, a friend." She turned around sharply. The hallway was empty. Who left this? Who knew about her mum? And what did they mean? Higher than Graves. Her heart pounded like a war drum. The game was over. But something bigger was just beginning. Back in the locker room, the energy was electric. Everyone was celebrating, laughing, shouting, jumping around. But Amira wasn't smiling. She kept glancing at the envelope in her bag like it was ticking. I noticed. "Hey, you okay? You should be dancing right now." Amira hesitated. She reached into her bag and handed Tammy the photo and the note. Tammi. Single quotes. His face dropped. "Who gave you this?" "No idea." Tammy read it again. This. "This sounds like someone's trying to warn you, or scare me." But even as she said it, Amira knew that wasn't true. This wasn't a threat, it was a door, and someone wanted her to open it. The hidden file. That night, Amira didn't sleep. She sat on her bed with her mum's old laptop. After 3 failed password attempts, she tried one more. 2 to Elwood. It worked. Her mother had saved old team videos, game notes, and one folder labeled, "Do not open." She clicked it. Inside was screenshots of emails, player evaluations, even text messages between Coach Graves and someone named R. Marin. Amira's hands went cold. The messages were about removing troublemakers, sidelining risks, and protecting the brand. One subject line hit her like a truck. Elwood, terminate track, kill scholarship. She felt sick. Her mother had been sabotaged at a new enemy the next morning. Amira waited outside the coach's office, her ankles still wrapped, her heart boiling. Graves arrived, coffee in hand. He didn't look at her. "You should be resting," he muttered. "I know what you did to my mum." That stopped him cold. His hand froze on the doorknob. "I have the files," she said softly. "Emails, messages, from you, about her." He turned, face pale but eyes hard. "You don't know what you think you do. I know you destroyed her career, and tried to do the same to me. For a moment, the mask slipped. He leaned in close. "You think this was about you?" he whispered. "You were just a piece in the game." Then he went inside and shut the door. The disappearing friend Amira raced to Tammy's room and banged on the door. "No answer," she texted. "I need to talk now." No reply. She called straight to voicemail. Weird.tamm. I was always glued to her phone. Amira tried. Bex. Nothing. She ran downstairs and froze. Tammy and Bex were sitting in Graves' office, behind closed blinds. Amira hid behind the hallway corner, her heart thudding. After 10 minutes, the door opened. Graves smiled. Tammy walked out, head low. She didn't see Amira, didn't text back. Something was wrong. The second note that night, another envelope appeared. Under her door, same handwriting, same black paper. Inside, "They're getting to your friends. Be careful who you trust." No signature. No return address. Amira's skin prickled. How was someone watching her so closely? She looked out her window. Darkness. Then another card slipped under her door. While she was still looking, she jumped back, rushed to the door, threw it open. No one was there. She picked up the new card. "Meet me. Midnight. Old Gym Court. Come. Alone." Her blood ran cold. The midnight meeting. She almost didn't go, but curiosity and rage pulled her out of bed. She limped through the shadows, every sound making her flinch. When she reached the old gym, the doors were slightly open. She slipped in. The place smelled of dust and memories. Then movement. A figure stepped out from the corner. A girl no older than 25, athletic build, hoodie pulled low. "You're Amira." Amira didn't answer. The girl tossed her something. A player badge. Rain Moren, class of 2017. Amira's eyes widened. "You're the one from the emails. I was the first, the one who got away." The truth bomb. Rain sat on the bleachers. "You're not the first girl Graves tried to erase. He targeted my mom, and now me." Rain nodded. "He built this program on silence, made deals with scouts, got girls blackballed if they spoke up. But why? Control, power, image. He liked his stars to look a certain way, be a certain type." Amira felt her stomach twist. Rain leaned in. "Your mum didn't get injured by accident. I think he arranged it." Amira gasped. "That's insane." Rain looked dead serious. "Prove me wrong." A name from the past. Rain handed her a list of names. Other players he pushed out. Girls with talent, but no support. A few just vanished. Amira stared at the paper. "Why help me?" "Because you did what we couldn't. You shot the ball. You made the world look. Now it's time to show them the truth." She stood to leave, then stopped. Graves isn't alone. The head recruiter's involved, so is one of the national sponsors. Amira's heart sank. "How do we beat them?" Rain turned back. "You shoot again, but this time, you aim higher." Tammy's silence the next day. Tammy still wasn't talking. To her, Amira finally cornered her after class. "What's going on? Why were you in Graves' office?" Tammy looked guilty, torn. "I didn't say anything. I swear. He called me in, said I needed to choose my future, that I was being watched." Amira's jaw clenched. "So, you froze?" Tammy's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't betray you. I just... I got scared." Amira felt the sting of betrayal. Even if Tammy hadn't said anything, she hadn't fought. Either. Sometimes silence cuts deeper than words. The decision that night. Amira made a choice. She printed the files, the emails, the text messages, burned copies to USBs, and sent them to every scout, every sponsor, every news outlet that had ever covered the team. Then she posted one thing on social media, a photo of her mother in uniform. Caption: "You tried to break her. You tried to break me. You built your empire on silence, but I've found my voice. See you soon." Final scene. They hit back the next morning. All hell broke loose. Emails were leaked. Hashtags trended. #Gravesgate exploded online. Former players started speaking out, sharing stories, videos. Sponsors dropped out. A national sports journalist flew in to investigate. And then came the final blow. Rain appeared on national TV. She named names, dropped evidence, explained everything. In the background, Amira watching silently. But before the segment ended, her phone lit up. A new message from an unknown number. "You've started a war. Hope you're ready, because they're not done with you." She stared. at the screen, took a deep breath, and whispered, "Let them come." The shot that broke the silence. Amira didn't sleep the night. The truth exploded online. Her post had gone viral. Rain's interview had shocked the nation, and now, Amira wasn't just a student athlete anymore. She was the center of a storm at sunrise. Her inbox was already flooded. Some were praising her. "You're so brave." Finally, someone spoke out. "You just saved lives." But others were terrifying. "You ruined lives. You'll pay for this. Better watch your back, liar." Her hands trembled, reading them. Then she got one more. No name, no message, just a single video clip. Her mother, wearing the same uniform Amira wore now, standing in the gym crying, saying something. Then cut. Amira, single quotes s, throat closed. This wasn't over. Someone had footage of her mother, and they were sending a message. The threat gets real. Ultimus changed overnight. Reporters were everywhere. Students whispered in hallways. Some called Amira a hero. Others called her a traitor. Graves hadn't been seen in 24 hours. But rumors spread like wildfire. He was lawyering up, trying to blame others, even threatening to expose people if he went down. Amira's coach status was now suspended, pending investigation. Recruiters stopped calling. One sponsor emailed, "We are pausing all offers until further notice." Even Tammy wasn't answering her messages. The silence from people she trusted cut the deepest. Amira walked through the gym lobby that afternoon and saw her own photo crossed out in black marker. Beneath it, "Snitch." The meeting that changed everything. She was about to go back to her dorm when Rain called. "Meet me now. Library basement. Bring your mum's USB." Amira rushed over. The old study room was dimly lit. Dusty Rain stood waiting, with someone else, a tall woman in her 40s, sharp eyes, long braids, military stance. "This is Special Agent Loretta Banks," Rain said. "FBI." Amira blinked. "You called the feds." "I told you," Rain said. "This wasn't just about Graves. It's bigger." Loretta sat down. "We've been tracking a ring of corruption tied to women's college sports. Your files confirm what we suspected, but they also open new doors." She slid Amira a folder. Photos, bank transfers, NDA contracts. One name kept appearing: Regina Locke, a powerful sports executive who ran a recruiting agency and had ties to both Graves and Amira's former academy. She built an empire by controlling young athletes, Loretta said. Scholarships, deals, careers, all manipulated. If someone disobeyed, injuries happened, offers vanished, careers ended. Amira's heart thudded. "Are you saying my mum didn't just lose her scholarship? She was targeted?" Loretta nodded slowly. "We believe so, and we think we can prove it." Amira clenched her fists. No more watching from the sidelines. A dangerous idea that night. Amira called Rain with a plan. "What if I got them to invite me to a meeting?" she said. "Graves, or Regina. I'll wear a wire. Catch them talking." "Are you crazy?" Rain hissed. "They're dangerous. I don't care. You could get hurt. I'm already hurting. They took my mother's future, tried to take mine. I won't stop now." Rain was silent for a long time. Then she whispered, "Okay, but we do this smart. I'll help you. But if anything feels wrong, we pull out." Amira agreed, but deep down she knew there was no pulling out now. The bait she crafted, the perfect bait message. Professional, humble, desperate. "Dear Coach Graves and Ms. Locke, I know emotions are high. I never meant to cause harm. I want to protect my career, not destroy anyone's. Can we meet? Just to talk. No press, no drama, just clarity." She sent it to the old recruitment contact address. Then she waited. One day, 2. Then, on the third night, a reply from Regina Locke herself. "Let's meet. One time only. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. No phones, no friends. Come alone." Attached an address. It wasn't a cafe or office. It was an old warehouse on the edge of town. The senator nearly lost her mind when she saw it. "They're luring you somewhere isolated. You cannot go in blind." "I won't be alone," Amira said. They wired her with a tiny mic, hidden in her sports bra. FBI vans were ready nearby, listening. Loretta herself would lead the team. "If anything sounds wrong," she warned, "say the phrase, 'It's too hot for practice.' That's our code to move in." Amira nodded, heart pounding. That night, she dressed simple. Hoodie, joggers, no makeup, just courage, and a burning need for the truth. The confrontation. The warehouse was dark and quiet. Inside, the air smelled of oil and dust. Regina Locke stood near a metal table, immaculate in a pantsuit, hair perfect. Next to her, Coach Graves, looking pale and older than before. Regina smiled. Nice to meet the little rebel. Amira didn't speak. Graves stepped forward. You've caused damage, Amira, to this program, to yourself. Amira looked at him deadly. You caused this. You tried to erase my mother and me. Regina raised an eyebrow. Your mother was difficult. She asked too many questions, got in the way of progress. So you ended her career. Amira asked softly. Regina didn't deny it. She simply said, she made a choice. You have a choice now too. She slid a folder across the table. Inside, a contract. Full scholarship, national team, fast track, sponsorship deals. If you sign this, Regina said, we fix your reputation. You become the face of the recovery story. Hero turned champion. Your career soars, and if I don't, Regina smiled, you fade. No offers, no team. You become your mother, bitter and forgotten. Amira's hands shook. Not with fear, with fury. The moment that changed everything. She looked Regina dead in the eye. You know what I think? Regina leaned in, curious. Amira whispered, it's too hot for practice. Instantly sirens. Doors slammed open. Agents rushed in. Regina gasped. Graves turned to run, tackled within seconds. Loretta stepped into the light, badge raised. You're both under arrest for conspiracy, fraud, and career sabotage. Regina shrieked, you little witch, you set me up. Amira smiled for the first time in days. Double quotes, no, you set yourself up. I just gave you the mic. The aftermath news broke within hours. College sports scandal. Top recruiter and coach arrested in athlete sabotage ring. Hashtag Justice for Elwood trended across the world. More players came forward. More agents were arrested. And Amira, she didn't lose her spot. She became a symbol, a fighter, a voice. Universities lined up to offer her places. But she chose differently. She stayed with Rain, with Loretta, with the girls who stood by her. She didn't just want to play. She wanted to change the system. Final scene. The shot. 3 weeks later. The gym was packed. Amira walked to the center of the court, alone, spotlight on her. The crowd fell silent. She bounced the ball once, then twice, looked up, took a breath, and shot. The ball soared high. Slow, pure, swish. The place erupted. Reporters jumped to their feet, but Amira wasn't looking at them. She was staring at the rafters where a new banner hung. In memory of Coach Elwood, she taught us to fight. Her mum. Smiling from the photo, she whispered, we did it, Mum. But just as she turned to leave the court, her phone buzzed. A single new message, from a number she didn't recognize. You think it's over. It's not. You've only scratched the surface. The final ply. Amira stared at the message on her phone like it had teeth. You think it's over. It's not. You've only scratched the surface. She read it twice, then again. The noise of the crowd was distant now, like a memory. Her heart raced, but she kept her face still. She tucked the phone into her pocket, walked calmly to the locker room, and locked the door behind her. She knew that tone, that arrogance. It wasn't Graves. He was already behind bars, facing multiple charges. It wasn't Regina either. Her lawyers were already begging for a plea deal. So who, and what surface? She sat on the bench, breathing deeply. This story, her story, wasn't finished yet. The other name. 2 days later, Rain showed up with a file. I think I know who sent that message, she said. Amira raised an eyebrow. Already I've been digging. There's a pattern in the old academy files. Your mum's name isn't the only one that disappeared. 5 other girls, similar story, injuries, dropped scholarships, some vanished entirely. She handed over a list. One name had a red circle around it. Naima Dorsey. She was top-tier talent. Fastest sprinter the school ever saw, Rain said. She vanished in your mum's second year, and she's alive, Rain said. Living under a different name in New Jersey. Took a new identity after something happened, something bad. She won't talk to anyone, but maybe. Amira stood up. Let's go. Meeting Namet was raining when they arrived. The woman who opened the door was slim, with tightly curled hair and wary eyes. Her hands trembled slightly as she looked at Amira. You're Elwood's daughter, aren't you? Amira nodded. Naima didn't say anything at first. She just stepped aside and let them in. The house was small, quiet. Safe. Amira waited. Finally, Naima sat down. I saw your video. The hearing, I almost didn't believe it. Someone finally stood up. Amira leaned forward. Miss Dorsey, what happened to you? Naima exhaled slowly. It wasn't Graves, she said. It was someone above him, the real boss, the one who paid Graves, controlled Regina, even owned a piece of the academy itself. She looked down, like the memory hurt. Your mum found out, she confronted them. The next day, she tore her ACL during a drill that never should have been scheduled. I saw the footage once. Someone moved the hurdles. Amira's blood turned cold. Naima whispered, it wasn't an accident. They ruined her on purpose. The name behind the curtain. Naima hesitated, then said the name, Victor Shale, a powerful figure, former Olympic board member, now a private investor with fingers in everything from youth academies to national sports committees. You won't find his name in public reports, Naima said, but he built the system that chewed up girls like us. He paid Graves, protected Regina, and now, he's scared of you. Amira clenched her fists. This was it, the final piece. Decision time. Rain was furious. We've already taken down Graves and Regina. The FBI has what it needs. If you go after someone like Victor Shale, it could destroy everything you've built. Amira looked at her, calm but firm. If I don't, it destroys everything my mother stood for. Rain sighed. Then we do it the smart way. We find proof. We hit where it hurts most. And where's that? Rain smiled. His own empire. Entering the Lion's Den. Victor Shale was scheduled to speak at the National Collegiate Awards, a black tie event. Powerful guests. Live media coverage. The perfect stage. Amira pulled strings, sent in a formal request to honor her mother's legacy with a speech during the ceremony. It was approved. Victor wouldn't know what hit him. The night of reckoning. The ballroom was massive. Crystal chandeliers, velvet curtains, everyone dressed in glitter and pride. Amira wore a simple black dress. On her wrist, a tiny silver bracelet, her mother's. Loretta from the FBI waited near the exit. Rain was backstage with a backup mic. This time, Amira wasn't nervous. She was ready. When they called her name, she stepped onto the stage. The applause was polite. Victor Shale sat in the front row, hands folded, smiling like a king. She took the mic, looked straight at him. Then she told the truth, not the soft version, not the filtered one, the full truth about sabotage, bribery, fear. She named Victor Shale. Gasps echoed through the room. Someone dropped a glass. Victor froze. Amira reached into her pocket and held up a flash drive. This, she said, contains footage from over 20 victims, voices that were silenced, until now. Then she said the words that shook the room. The games we play should lift us, not break us. I won't just win medals, I'll win justice. Security began to move, but it was too late. Loretta stepped forward, badge raised. Victor Shale, you're under federal investigation. Chaos erupted, but Amira didn't move. She stood tall, quiet, steady, like her mother once had. The final letter. Weeks passed. Investigations widened. Victor's empire collapsed. Dozens of former athletes stepped forward. Coaches resigned. Lawsuits were filed. Amira was offered a full scholarship to any university she wanted, but she chose to stay local. Instead of going pro, she launched the Elwood Foundation, dedicated to protecting and uplifting young female athletes. One morning, while sorting donations, Rain brought in a letter. No return address. Inside, a photo of her mom, fierce, smiling, and a note. Your mother would be proud. You didn't just take the shot, you changed the game. Amira smiled, tears in her eyes. Closing scene. The lesson. Months later, she walked into a high school gym. Dozens of young girls were lined up, lacing shoes, tying ponytails, laughing nervously. She picked up a ball, blew the whistle, and said, let's talk about courage, about what it really means. It's not just winning games. It's knowing when to speak, even when the world tells you to stay silent. One girl raised her hand. Coach, did it hurt? Losing everything to speak out. Amira paused, then smiled. Sometimes, you have to lose everything to find who you really are. The end.